The Young and the Restless spoilers, Claire's explosive reaction to Victoria and Kyle's drama. The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates indicate that Claire Newman, Haley Aaron, is set to make a startling revelation. Victoria Newman, Amelia Heinley, is about to take a risky chance and is likely to face the consequences. A recent behind-the-scenes image suggests that Victoria and Kyle Abbott, Michael Mealer, will find themselves on the verge of a kiss in the near future. Their relationship is heading down a perilous road that could jeopardize the mother-daughter relationship Victoria has with Claire. According to YNR spoilers for the week of June 1st to 5th, the drama is already beginning to unfold, and it could ruin Victoria and Claire's relationship. Kyle has recently confronted Victoria once again regarding Victor Newman, Eric Braeden, but he might tone it down and offer an apology. Regardless, the atmosphere will be significantly more amicable between Kyle and Victoria during their upcoming meeting at the Genoa City Athletic Club. Victoria and Kyle toast over coffee, celebrating hope for the future, and they bond. This is where Victoria and Kyle will share a toast over coffee, celebrating the hope for brighter days ahead. The key point is that their coffee date will serve as a bonding experience, marking the first step towards a budding attraction between them. Although they might not fully understand the chemistry that's about to unfold, that's often how life works. Their romance is set to develop slowly, especially since both have compelling reasons to resist their feelings. With their families at odds, and Victoria being Claire's mother, the situation is bound to become incredibly awkward. The heart wants what the heart wants. Still, the heart has its own desires, and it wants what it wants. Despite the potential consequences, Victoria and Kyle might find it impossible to stay apart, risking everything in the process. Eventually, Claire is likely to catch Victoria sharing a kiss with Kyle or even stumble upon them in bed together. Even though Claire insists she no longer loves Kyle, he remains her first crush and someone who will always hold significance in her life. Her mother with her first love will be a shocker. The fact that Victoria is willing to cross that boundary with Kyle could deeply unsettle Claire, leading her to question her mother's true character. Claire has always idolized Victoria, especially since her mother has forgiven many of Claire's past errors, but now Victoria is about to shatter that image. Will Claire forgive her? The latest developments in Genoa City are raising a question that nobody expected to ask just a few weeks ago: is Matt Clark really a changed man? For years, Matt has been viewed as a dangerous figure whose actions left deep scars on the Newman family. His name alone has been enough to trigger anger, suspicion, and fear. But recent events have created a situation that nobody saw coming, and now even some of his harshest critics are beginning to wonder whether the man standing before them is truly the same person they once knew. Everything changed after a dramatic confrontation involving Nick Newman. The encounter was intense, emotional, and filled with years of unresolved resentment. Nick entered the situation expecting resistance and manipulation. Instead, he found something that caught him completely off guard. Matt appeared confused. Not the kind of confusion someone fakes to avoid responsibility. According to what Nick observed, Matt genuinely seemed unable to remember critical parts of his past. The realization forced Nick to question assumptions he had been carrying for years. The possibility that Matt may be suffering from memory loss changes everything. If Matt truly cannot remember the crimes and mistakes that defined his reputation, then everyone around him faces a difficult challenge. How do you hold someone accountable when they cannot even remember what they did? More importantly, can a person seek redemption if they don't fully understand the reasons they need forgiveness? Those questions are now at the center of the story. Meanwhile, members of the Newman family continue to process the situation from different perspectives. Some believe Matt deserves absolutely no sympathy regardless of his condition. Others are starting to wonder whether there may be an opportunity for genuine change. The tension becomes even more complicated because Matt himself appears desperate for answers. Rather than avoiding the truth, he seems determined to recover his memories. He wants to know who he was, what happened, and why so many people look at him with distrust. That determination has created a surprising emotional layer to the story. For perhaps the first time in years, Matt is not acting like a villain with a secret plan. Instead, he appears to be a man searching for his own identity. Of course, not everyone is convinced. Many residents of Genoa City believe this could be another manipulation. They have seen deception before, and they know how dangerous it can be to trust the wrong person. As a result, every interaction with Matt carries uncertainty. But one thing is clear. Whether his memory returns tomorrow or months from now, Matt's journey is only beginning. The answers he discovers could change his future forever and may also reshape the lives of everyone connected to him. While Matt struggles to understand his own past, Noah Newman has decided that waiting for answers is not enough. Noah remains deeply affected by everything that happened during the recent crisis. The trauma of nearly losing his life is not something he can simply forget. Even though time has passed, the emotional impact remains very real. That experience has fueled Noah's determination to uncover the truth. Unlike some family members who are willing to observe and wait, Noah wants action. He believes that the key to solving the mystery lies in forcing Matt to confront fragments of his past. If those memories can be triggered, perhaps the truth will finally emerge. The strategy is risky. Some people worry that pushing Matt too hard could create even greater problems. If his memories return suddenly, nobody knows how he will react. The emotional shock could be overwhelming. Despite those concerns, Noah believes the risk is worth taking. His goal is not revenge. At least, that is what he tells himself. Instead, he argues that true justice requires the complete truth. If Matt remembers everything, then everyone involved can finally move forward. At the same time, Noah is trying to rebuild his own life. His nightclub project represents more than a business opportunity. It symbolizes a fresh start after months of chaos and uncertainty. The venue has become a reflection of Noah's determination to create something positive despite everything he has endured. Ironically, some observers have begun to speculate about a future nobody expected. What if Matt eventually becomes part of that future? It sounds impossible right now, but stranger things have happened in Genoa City. If Matt truly changes and proves himself, could he someday earn enough trust to work alongside people who currently despise him? That possibility remains highly controversial. For now, Noah remains focused on one objective: discovering the truth. He refuses to allow unanswered questions to linger. Whether the answers lead to redemption or punishment is something that only time will reveal. The situation continues to place enormous pressure on everyone involved. Families are divided. Friendships are being tested. Long-held beliefs are being challenged. And at the center of it all stands Matt Clark, a man who may hold the key to mysteries that even he cannot remember. As the search for answers continues, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The moment Matt's memories begin to return, the balance of power throughout Genoa City could change overnight. Whenever a major opportunity appears in Genoa City, one name inevitably enters the conversation: Victor Newman. Victor has spent decades building an empire, protecting his family, and outmaneuvering his enemies. His greatest strength has never been money alone. It has been his ability to recognize opportunities that others overlook. Now many people are wondering whether Matt Clark could become Victor's newest opportunity. At first glance, the idea seems unlikely. Matt has a troubled history and remains surrounded by controversy. Yet Victor has often demonstrated a unique ability to see potential where others see only problems. That is exactly why speculation continues to grow. If Matt is truly committed to rebuilding his life, Victor could decide to offer him a path forward. Such a decision would shock many people, especially those who believe Matt deserves punishment rather than a second chance. But Victor rarely makes decisions based on popular opinion. He focuses on results. From Victor's perspective, a man seeking redemption can become a powerful ally. Someone who has lost everything often becomes fiercely loyal to the person who gives him another chance. That possibility creates fascinating implications for the future. Imagine a version of Matt who is no longer driven by anger, revenge, or resentment. Imagine a man determined to prove himself worthy of trust. Such a person could become a valuable asset in situations where Victor needs help navigating difficult challenges. Of course, none of this will happen without resistance. Many members of the Newman family remain skeptical. They have spent too many years dealing with the consequences of Matt's actions. Convincing them to accept him would be incredibly difficult. Yet Victor has never been intimidated by difficult challenges. If he believes Matt can be useful, he may move forward regardless of what others think. The larger question is whether Matt himself is capable of completing the transformation that seems to be unfolding. Redemption is never simple. It requires honesty, accountability, and the willingness to face painful truths. If Matt's memories return, he may be forced to confront mistakes that are even worse than he imagined. How he responds in that moment will define his future. Will he reject responsibility and return to old habits? Or will he embrace the opportunity to become someone new? That question could shape the next major chapter of the story. As alliances shift and secrets continue to emerge, viewers should prepare for unexpected twists. The road ahead promises emotional confrontations, difficult decisions, and potentially life-changing revelations. One thing is certain. Matt Clark's story is far from over, and the consequences of his choices may affect Genoa City for a very long time.